Hello and welcome to London's Hyde Park for the City of Westminster Serpentine Regatta. Along with the London Electricity Board, we're going to bring you a day of top-class entertainment, of international competition, and we'll have some messing about in the river for you as well. Of course, the regatta very nearly didn't happen because of that hurricane. When it ripped through the capital, trees were uprooted in the park here. Some of them fell on the boats, causing thousands of pounds worth of damage. But after a lot of hard work by the organisers, most of the boats were made ready, put out onto the river, the area was cleared up, and we're ready for the Serpentine Regatta. Well, with me now is Steve Gunn, one of our national coaches. Steve, a lot of smiles around the river today. But what's the purpose of the regatta?
The idea is to use this marvellous venue we have in Hyde Park to show to the public what a great sport rowing really is. We've assembled international teams of the very highest level, domestic events and also fun events to show that the sport can be fun, entertaining and really exciting and a good sport to watch.
Teams from Europe here and from the Soviet Union, but how strong is the competition?
The competition is very strong indeed. The Soviet team especially is full of world and Olympic gold medalists, the stars being the Pimenov brothers, and the British team has our own Olympic gold medal winners, Redgrave and Holmes in it. The Italian and French teams are also very strong.
Steve, thanks very much indeed. We'll see the fun events in a moment, but let's first concentrate on the international events and remind ourselves of the international teams.
The Great Britain team includes two of the finest oarsmen in the world, Stephen Redgrave and Andy Holmes. Toughest competition today comes from the Soviet Union with the Pimenov brothers. The Italians are led by world and Olympic champion Giuseppe Abbagnale. And the French are here, always successful at junior level, now hoping to make an impression at senior level. So let's join our first international race of the day. Our commentator is Phil Liggett.
And the four nations on the start line for the first of 6 international races this afternoon. A difficult one for the Coxes on this windy day. Here's Pat Sweeney, the Great Britain Cox.
On this one, with such a strong crosswind, it's going to be the one who can keep the nerve as we come off the start, because we're going to be getting blown around, so that's going to be a major factor. The other one is that because it's such a short race, you've got to come off fast, and there are some tactics that you're going to have to push again at the halfway. We're going to have to keep it lively all the way down the course, and with such a strong wind, the likelihood is that people are going to get a bit mixed up in the crosswinds and start throwing a lot of water around, so we're going to have to really make sure we push again about halfway.
And the words of Pat Sweeney there, and this is the British quartet: John Garrett, John Maxey, and the 2 Olympic champions Andy Holmes and Martin Cross on stroke. You can just see the head there of Pat Sweeney, and he's in the front of the boat, unlike in the 8s, and it helps the run of the boat during the race. And there we have the Italians on the inside, seeming to be lagging at the moment. The face there of Martin Cross, the Olympic champion, sitting in front of Andy Holmes, the other Olympic champion. And they do seem to be pulling quite well. They've got the Russians on their right shoulder, and the Russians at the moment seem to be just ahead. Ivan Vysotsky, the world champion in 1985 at Home Pier Pont in Nottingham, and he's at the front of the boat, and he's pulling this boat well at the moment. The French also creeping into the picture. This is the Italians. They seem to be last of the 4 at the moment. That's something of a surprise. They've drawn the outside lane, lane number 4, which has been favoured by some of the club racing here earlier today. But the Russians have got the inside lane at lane number 1. They're feeling most of the wind, which is slightly off tail to cross. And the Russians clear, and the British seemingly dropping back in only 3rd place at the moment. Well, we expected this to be a much closer fight between the Russians and the British quartet. The French are intruding there, and it's going to be a clear victory here for the Soviet Union. 4 very valuable points in this opening match. The Soviet Union are clear. France will take 2nd. There's a surprise. And in 3rd place, Great Britain. So an excellent start for the Soviet Union with the Pimenov brothers on board. And I'm not surprised that Martin Cross there looks a little bit disappointed. So a win there for the Soviet Union, a very good time of 1 minute 26.67, 3-second beating of France, and Great Britain only in 3rd place. The situation then after event number 1, 4 points going to the Soviet Union, 2 only to Great Britain and 3 to France. The point system, by the way, 4-3-2-1 for the first 5 events, and then we are 10, 7, 5 and 3 for the last event, the 8s. So we come now to something of a charity race, the House of Commons, but there's nothing charitable here about actor Rodney Bewes.
You sing the next note. Just sing the next note. Get ready for it.
Come on, you bugger!
And Rodney Bewes taking it very seriously indeed, with members from both sides of the House of Commons pulling together here for charity. The prize is £1,000 and it will go towards encouraging youth rowing. It was a short 500 metres dash along the Serpentine before they shipped oars. Bewes' boat was the winner, and he certainly was the best dressed man on the Serpentine.
You're well dressed for the occasion with your London Rowing Club cap.
The cap is very important, and you mustn't worry if you look like a wally. The cap is London Rowing Club, which I represent in London, and I represent the gigs in Cornwall. And I've been all over the world with this cap. I've rowed in Hong Kong Harbour in this cap, and it fell in Hong Kong Harbour. And it's priceless like the gigs.
Indeed it is, and now we're back with the internationals here, and this is round number 2, the international single sculls, with Stephen Redgrave from Great Britain in lane number 1, this massive man, the Commonwealth Games champion. In lane number 2, Alain Moretto, he wears turquoise, from the French team. Lane number 3, the Russian danger, Valery Desenko, a quads world champion. And on the far outside, the lesser known of the 3 Abbagnale brothers, Agostinho Abbagnale, the youngest. So they're all set to go. Short 500 metres sprint. And this should be a battle between the Russian Desenko here and Stephen Redgrave. Redgrave came away from the Commonwealth Games last year with 3 gold medals, 1 in this, the single scull. He'll be the man the Russian will have his eye on. Redgrave on the far right of the picture here, the Russian in the centre of the 3 other scullers. And remember, it was France who surprised last time with that fine second place in the opening match. And are they going to keep up that sort of pressure? At the moment it doesn't appear so. It looks as though Redgrave's going very, very well on the bank side. And it does appear running to form here, the Russian Desenko in the centre. There he is, glanced across there to see the whereabouts of Redgrave. This very strong wind is building up all the time here this afternoon, it making the going very, very choppy indeed. But Redgrave pulling extremely well on the far right and coming clear with the Russian. The other 2 are appearing now to be out of it. And again, it's Desenko watching Redgrave on his right. 3/4 distance now. A massive man, Stephen Redgrave. 6 gold medals at World, Olympic and Commonwealth Games competition level. And he's got a good half length here on Desenko. This is going to level the score perhaps, because remember, Great Britain only got 3rd in that opening race. And that was a little bit of a surprise, but he's coming clear for this one. So Redgrave is beginning to put Great Britain back on to a winning trail here perhaps. He comes to the cheers of the crowd here, a length ahead. So Stephen Redgrave will be delighted with this. Victory over the Soviet Union's Valery Desenko, who takes 2nd place. And in 3rd place, the Italian Agostinho Abbagnale. And there you can see the winning margin for Stephen Redgrave for Great Britain. And in fact, the judges have relegated Italy into 4th place because Abbagnale jumped the gun.
Stephen, congratulations.
Thank you.
Was it very easy?
A race like that is never that easy. I was able to take it a little bit easy across the line. The Russian got a very good start. I didn't have a very good start. He got a slight lead on me. Coming into the last 100 metres, I just squeezed in front. He caught his blades and virtually stopped, and then it just made it an easy paddle across the line.
Did the wind affect you at all? There's a bit of a crosswind.
It's a nasty crosswind. It's not very nice, especially in a single. I'm not really looking forward to steering in the pair as well. It's going to make it very awkward. But should be no problems in the 8 with the steering wise.
And that win brings Britain back into contention. They're now in 2nd place, a point behind Russia, who have 7, Britain 6 and France 5.
Well, believe it or not, I'm sitting on the edge here of the oldest rowing boat in the world. It's a Cornish pilot gig, and the man who's piloting it today here at the regatta is John Borden. John, really, is it the oldest rowing boat in the world?
As far as we know, through all the records, it's the oldest boat still in existence and rowing competitively.
When was it built?
In 1812 by Mr. Peters of St. Paul in Cornwall.
It's a pilot gig. What does that mean?
Well, originally they were used to pilot every company in every harbour in Cornwall and some in Southern Ireland at a pilot company, they would race out to the sailing boats, put a pilot aboard, and they would also have the job of working the cargo, whichever company got there first.
Do you not worry about taking the oldest rowing boat in the world around with you? Something might happen to it.
We do worry a lot, but like everything else, if you kept the heirloom locked in the cupboard, nobody would ever see it, and why keep something beautiful?
John, thank you very much indeed. So we'll see the oldest rowing boat in the world, the Cornish pilot gig, racing with the men's crew later on.
Indeed we will, Paul, and that'll be worth looking forward to. But right now, at the Air France International Double Sculls, round 3 in this 6-race contest between the 4 nations. And in lane at number 1, we have drawn the Italians, Giovattini Suarez and David Tinzano. In lane 2, for the Soviet Union, Mikhail Ivanov and Igor Kotko. France have drawn lane 3, Francois Porte and Daniel Fauché. And the British pair in Great Britain in lane 4, Adam Clift and Sally Hassan. Clift, the most experienced member of the two, a world silver medalist with Martin Cross in 1985 and a Commonwealth Games gold medalist in the coxed fours as well. So Adam Clift and Sally Hassan, they're hoping to carry on the good work now set up by Stephen Redgrave. Remember, Russia won the opening match. Redgrave came good in the single sculls, and now we're in the double sculls, and Clift and Hassan, all members of the team by the way, must row or scull in 2 of the 6 events, minimum, and maximum 3 of the 6 events. Well, it does appear this time France are well and truly out of this one. And we've got the British here in lane 4 on the left of our picture, just about holding the Russians at the moment. Mikhail Ivanov, the world champion in 85 and 86 in the quads, and Igor Kotko. And the Soviet Union are nosing ahead, but they're being challenged well here by the British. And coming through on the inside, Clift and Hassan are coming back well. Look at this now, neck and neck as they come up towards the line between the British pair on the near side of the camera and the Soviet pair. Right on the line, and that really is a photo finish. And Sally Hassan there, deservedly exhausted after a fine effort there with Adam Clift to take the Soviet Union all the way up to the line. But look at this here, the Soviet Union team have it by something like 5 inches. 0.3 of a second, the official time for the Soviet Union. Great Britain are in 2nd place, Italy get 3rd, and France a long way behind there, 8 seconds behind the Soviet team in 4th place. So to the overall situation now, with 4 points going to the Soviet Union, 3 to Great Britain and 2 to Italy. The Soviet Union have 11, 2 points clear of Great Britain. France are 3rd.
So the Soviet Union with a slight advantage at the moment. Join us after the break to see how the competition develops. And welcome back to the City of Westminster Serpentine Regatta. I've just been enjoying some refreshment in one of the many hospitality tents, and very pleasant it was as well. But let's return now to the rowing and update ourselves with the international competition.
And after 3 races, the Soviet Union have a 2-point lead over Great Britain. The next race we're going to see is the coxless pairs, featuring Andy Holmes and Stephen Redgrave. Early in the day, they received a boost to their Olympic training with a cheque from Minette Holdings for £5,000. Now this year, Minette Holdings, through the Sports Aid Foundation, are donating £1.8 million to athletes whom they believe have a real chance of gaining gold in Seoul.
And there really are no finer recipients for that cheque than Andy Holmes and Steve Redgrave, who between them have picked up 11 gold medals at the highest level. But how does Stroke Steve Redgrave see the race going?
It's very important you get off to a very clean start. It's very important that you get your rate of striking as many strokes as possible. It's a very short race. You have to get in as many strokes as you possibly can. So it looks like crews are being very rushed. Probably the biggest opposition we've got here are the Pimenov brothers from Russia, who have been world champions and who finished 3rd in the World Championships this year. They're going to be the biggest oppositions, but the Italians and French are very, very good pairs.
And 500 metres is all it may be, but this pair here, Andy Holmes and Steve Redgrave, are facing their arch rivals, the Pimenov brothers from the Soviet Union, Yuri and Nikolai. The last 2 meetings have both gone in the favour of the 2 British boys. They beat them at Henley, but it took 2 races to do that earlier in the year, and they also beat them for the world title. Until then, the British boys had not won the world title. The Pimenovs had won it both in 85 and 86. So the world champions, Andy Holmes and Steve Redgrave, then facing their rivals as they come up to the midway point, and they really are neck and neck in the centre of our pictures. The Italians and the French, who seem to be out of it at the moment, but look at this, both boats almost level on the Serpentine here. A good solid stroke rate from the Soviet team, and they keep glancing across there where they can see the British boys right alongside them. They're going up the Serpentine here, almost dead level. We've had some close finishes in these international matches all afternoon. This one is looking set to be the closest of the lot. We could well be seeing here a dress rehearsal for the final next year in Seoul between these two magnificent crews. The British boys hanging on to a very, very narrow lead here as the finishing line approaches. The Russians, though, are fighting well, and they could well come back as they come up to the line. The British boys are going to get this one, and this will give Great Britain 2 victories to the Soviet Union's double as well today. The British boys are over the line in first place, and that was a magnificent performance by Andy Holmes and Steve Redgrave, because again they've triumphed over the Pimenov brothers. And Redgrave, I think his face tells it all. And what a great race it really was. The large crowd here came along to see this one, and they weren't disappointed. Andy Holmes and Steve Redgrave, the world champions and the Commonwealth Games champions, looking for the gold medal in the Olympic Games next year in Seoul. And they know that the men they're most likely going to have to beat to get that gold medal will be these two, the Pimenov brothers. And they didn't give them any room to move at all here. At the start, it was the British boys who went out in front, and they only got a few inches advantage, in fact, over the Russian boat, who held them there as they came all the way up to the line. It increased just enough, and this will be a very, very satisfying win indeed for Holmes and Redgrave. And there it is, the margin that has given Great Britain victory in this round, ahead of the Soviet Union, Italy third and France fourth.
Andy, many, many congratulations. A very, very close finish to a great race.
Oh, that was some race actually. Yeah.
Well, what happened at the start? Did you get a good start?
Yeah, we got off very cleanly. We steamed away from them. Then after about 30 strokes, they just came charging back. It was amazing. And we thought, oh God, you know, we've got a race on our hands now. You know, and then the last bit, we just managed to pick it up and scramble over in front. But it was a pretty odd affair.
And very satisfying to beat the Russians.
Yeah, it's really good. We've raced them 4 times and we've never lost to them. So even over the short distance, you know, it was still nice to beat them.
And there's the overall situation now, with that victory to Great Britain and Russia taking second place. Russia still lead overall with 2 events to come by a single point ahead of Great Britain. And now we move on to the men's gig boat final, and from the lightweight shells of the racing boats we go to a new style of racing boat, or perhaps more correctly a very old style of racing boat, because these boats were built over 100 years ago. And 6 oars, there used to be 8 oars till there was an act of Parliament, because they simply went too fast with 8 oarsmen and the customs boats couldn't catch up with them. There's Buller, the new one of the fleet, built in 1986 in fact, and it's owned by Cadgwith here, where Rodney Bewes, the actor, lives, and he's on the shore at the moment shouting for his home team. 1,500 metres for the gig boats. That's from the start through the finishing line, turn around, go back down to the start area where they'll turn again before they come back up to the finishing line. These boats moored home on the open seas. In the early days they used to row out as far as 100 miles carrying pilots to China tea clippers coming in. First pilot aboard was the man who got the job. But here on the flatter waters now of the Serpentine, it's Buller who makes the corner first, and this is at the 500 metres point, the finish line next time through, followed through by Bonnet and Newquay, the oldest boat, trying to go through there on the inside. But striking down towards the 1,000 metre point, Buller had built quite a clear lead, and at £7,500, the cost to build her last year, it looks as though it was all beginning to pay off. She made the turn down at the start point, and just 500 metres to go back up to the finish. The crew of Bonnet really did get stripped off for the occasion. But there was no holding Buller as it made the finishing line quite a few lengths ahead of Bonnet, with Newquay bringing up the rear. Rodney Bewes, his chance to claim the first prize.
Usually what happens is these boys take these boats, you know, many miles and race, and the prize is nothing. And the LEB kindly have donated a television set for our rowing club in Cadbury, which I think is a pretty good prize.
And there was fun all round today when there were in fact 79 events throughout the day on the Serpentine, and this, the London Youth Games, a little bit of fun jousting in boats. And the sun shining now over the city of Westminster, again playing its part in a major sporting promotion this year. And on the line now, event number 5 in the match between the four nations, the International Quadruple Sculls. In lane 1 in the orange, Great Britain, and they've drawn the inside lane, and the USSR here nearest the camera, they've got the outside lane, number 4. Italy are in 3 and France in lane 2. And this will be another strong test for this British quartet, Richard Stanhope, Mark Buckingham, Adam Clift and Salih Hassan, because they're facing here the Russian world champions, Mikhail Ivanov, Sergei Kiniarkin, Valery Dosenko and Igor Kotko. And this is the actual team that won the world title in the quad sculls this year in Copenhagen. And it looks to me as though they've got off to a very good start, the Russians. This is the Italian team. We haven't seen too much of the Italians this afternoon. It really has been a battle between the two top nations, Great Britain on the right and on the left, the Soviet Union. Salih Hassan and Adam Clift second in the double sculls early. It looks to me there as though the British team caught a buoy, and that is going to hamper them as they're coming up towards the line. This is in favour of the Russians now. The Russians pulling clear here. France again out of this. Italy staying in with a chance, but it looks as though the Soviet team now are going ahead of Great Britain. Now this is a shame because Great Britain were challenging for this overall trophy, but the Russian World Championship crew here pulling well clear of Britain, and it's Italy now in second place. Italy are going to get second, but there's no doubt about the winners this time, a length in favour of the Soviet Union. Second are Italy and third are Great Britain, and that's rather a shame really, but they really lost that when they struck the buoy. They weren't all together as a good sculling combination, and I'm not surprised the world champions are happy with that. There we can see Britain taking third place, pushing France out into fourth. And that has done this to the overall point standing. The Soviet Union 3 points ahead of Great Britain, with the final race, the 8th, to come with 10 points to the winner. And a bird's eye view for us from the camera mounted on the head of Oxford Cox, Ruth Potter, and a chance for us to have a unique view of a very old tradition, the women's boat race between Oxford and Cambridge, and this over the measured course of 500 metres, not to be confused of course with their annual meeting at Henley on the Thames. So we can join Ruth, the Oxford Cox.
Go! Squeeze. Sharp. 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 Lengthen. Lengthen. Sprinting out now. Sprinting out. You're level with them. You're level with them. You're pulling up on them. You're pulling up on them. Squeeze out now. Descending from the finish. Nick. Break. Rhythm. Settle down. Settle down. Stay loose and long. You're with them all the way. You're with them all the way. I'm going through them. I'm at their 7. I want their 6. Give me their 6. Going through them. That's their 6. I want their 5. Squeeze on the finishes. And circling. That's their 5. I want their 4. Let's send from the finish. Send from the finish. That's their 4. I want their 3. Give me their 3. Squeeze through. Snap the legs down. That's their 3. I want their 2. Keep it sharp. Keep it sharp. Reaching up for the catch. Blades close to the water. That's their 2. I want their bow. Give me their bow. Squeezing out now on the finish. Keep it sharp. Keep it together. Keep it together. Stay long. Give me their bow. Squeezing out now. Squeezing out now.
And so squeals of delight there from the Oxford crew as they beat Cambridge, but it can all change of course by next March.
Well,
this is one of the friendly faces on the front of a dragon boat, one of the races that's causing a lot of fun and entertainment and interest here today. With me is Mike Haslam, who organises the dragon boat racings here in this country. Mike, it seems very popular today. What's behind dragon boat racing?
Oh, it goes back 2,000 years to China, and it developed in the fishing communities. It was really to commemorate a guy that was against the local politicians who were corrupt, and he threw himself into the river to escape, to make a protest, and his friends went and rescued him, banging drums and all the rest of it. From that developed dragon boat racing, and they do it every year to commemorate that occasion.
Certainly, I say a lot of fun and interest today, and the winner of today's event will get going to Hong Kong, is that right?
That's right. The winner of today's event will be sponsored by the Hong Kong Tourist Association to go to Hong Kong next year as the British representatives in the Hong Kong International Racing.
And what sort of chance will they have, do you think?
Well, I don't know. There has been a team going from Britain for the last few years. I think they've made the final a couple of times, but have not yet won. Hopefully we might do better, because this is the first time that we've had a real selection for it. Normally we've just nominated a team. Now there's been 20 crews here racing to have the honour of going, so I think we'll do something better next year.
And just who will have the honour of going to Hong Kong? This is the Dragon Boat final. In lane 1 is Wei, lane 2 is Lincoln, and on the far outside in lane number 3 is the Elmbridge Canoe Club. All these teams coming through a full day of heats and semi-finals to battle out this very nice prize of a trip to Hong Kong next June. 20 paddlers in the boat, 1 on the drum and 1 on the tiller. You can have, of course, fewer if you wish, but you lose a little bit of strength in so doing on the paddles. And the drums may have been used in the old days to frighten away the fish. Now they're beating out the rhythm of the strike. Well, it looks as though Elmbridge have made a very good start on the left. This is Lincoln in the centre, and Lincoln Imps, in fact, were the national champions over 500 metres in 1981. Well into halfway now, and as you can see the men on the tiller here trying to keep the dragon boat on course. And this is an art in itself with all these men on board. They're digging deep in the water now as they go quicker. It takes a lot of strength to hold this boat on a straight course, trying not to do too much work on that tiller, because you lose ground if you do. Lincoln Imps here trying to fight for victory in the centre of our picture. The far side is Wei. And Elmbridge on the near side seem to have the edge at the moment. Elmbridge coming forward now. In the middle is Lincoln. On the far side is Wei. It looks as though Lincoln's out of it now. It's going to be between Wei and Elmbridge. Elmbridge on the near side. There is a theory that the canoers have the advantage over the rowers in dragon boat racing, and it looks now as though that's being proven to be correct, because on the line, Elmbridge are the winners. Wei will take second, and it looks as though the Lincoln Imps are in all sorts of trouble there. So the men in green win. Elmbridge are the winners. Wei took second place, and the Lincoln Imps were third.
So the members of the Elmbridge Canoe Club receive their prizes and trophy from Mrs. Wilson, the wife of the chairman of the London Electricity Board. The happy crew can now look forward to a trip to Hong Kong to represent Great Britain next year. Now on to the climax of the afternoon's racing. The Soviet Union have a 3-point lead over Great Britain. So in this last race, Great Britain must win to ensure at least a tie of the afternoon's event. On their way to the start, the Soviet Union team collided with the Italian team. It meant some quick running repairs. The wrath of the Russian coach was obvious to everyone. Nothing worse, in fact, than a bent rigger. It was all fixed up in a matter of minutes, and the Soviet Union team were off down to the start.
And so to the final event, the blue ribbon of the international racing. The eights, and France have drawn lane 1, Great Britain lane 2, Italy in 3, and the Soviet Union in 4. And the Great Britain team here know they really must beat the Soviet Union to stand any chance at all now of winning the overall match. Remember, it's 10 points for victory, 7 for second, 5 and 3. Significantly more than the 5 races already gone. And Russia, by the way, have won 3 to Great Britain's 2. Even that could be taken into consideration if it comes to a dead heat on the match. So all the pressure then on the British boat. They must win this one. The stroke is Stephen Redgrave.
That's it! Leading by about quarter of a length.
And that quarter of a length does appear to be the British ahead of the Italians, because the Russians are very, very close indeed. There doesn't appear to be anything in it here at all. Redgrave and his crew now having to work very hard. This is the crucial race for them. They must win it. The Russians looking across to the British to see exactly where they are. And stroke for stroke they're matching them. And the shout there of go for home now by Patrick Sweeney. He's trying to bring the best out of this crew, and they're coming up towards the line now. They have the edge over the Russians, or do they? Because the Soviets are coming back very, very close on the line. Well, just who has got that one?
Deep breathe. Well done, lads, well done. Look here, right down.
Well, the British said, well done, lads. They think they've got it, but looking at the faces here on the Soviet squad, they think they've got it as well. They don't come much closer than that. What a great race it really was, and the Russian team here were racing stroke for stroke with the British boys. And Pat Sweeney really was working hard to get the best out of this crew. They had to win this race, and it's still waiting on the result of the photograph to see if they've done it. Just look at the expressions here on the whole of the British crew. Second place simply not good enough. They need the 10 points for victory to hold any hope at all of final victory overall. The Russian boat there almost slicing through that Canadian goose. And there's the result. The Great Britain 8 have it by the narrowest of margins, and the Russian boat, slightly off course, certainly cost them victory. So that puts them equal on points overall.
Many, many congratulations, Pat. A great end to a great day.
Yeah, very good, very good. It was an enjoyable day. We was touch and go with the Russians in the races, and then in this one it was the same again. So good finale for the whole thing.
You must be the calmest man here. Everybody in the bank's thoroughly excited about the result there.
Yeah. Up there it wasn't about 100 metres to go. It was getting a bit dicey, but everything came right.
Where did you get that extra finish from?
Actually, we had a very good start, and we managed to jump out about half a length. And they were coming back through us, and then I don't know where the guys got it from, but they threw in about 10 just before the line, and it kicked back in again, so they went really well.
Terrific. Very well done. Thanks so much, Pat.
And that great finish to the final event of the afternoon meant indeed that the points were tied, Great Britain and Soviet Union sharing 25. The French picked up 11 points and the Italians 14. Now, both the Great Britain team and the Soviet Union team had recorded 3 victories, so the fine Waterford Crystal trophies were shared between the two teams.
A traditional ducking brings to an end the City of Westminster Serpentine Regatta. It was a day of certainly top-class international competition, a tie between the Soviet Union and Great Britain. We all had great fun and entertainment. I hope you enjoyed watching at home. From all of us for now, good night.